Hey, Clemson family, let's cover some news out of fall camp about the quarterbacks and a little bit more. Plus, we've also got our first guest on the show.
This Daniel Shirley. I am so excited about our first guest. Shawan Wright, former basketball player at Clemson, an all-time great at Clemson, one of our great big men who ever played for the program. He was great enough to join us today to talk basketball, some football, a little bit everything in between. Really excited about the interview with Sharon and what you guys are going to hear from him. And then we're also going to break down the new Clemson baseball signees with Coach Bakich, with his first class. Some of these guys had already signed, but now the class is full. Can't wait to see what they bring to the program this year.
I'm Bill Zimmerman. Welcome to episode 16 of the Reign Supreme Alway podcast. Go ahead and tap that subscribe button. We'll keep you up with the latest big happenings in Clemson sports, and you won't miss out. You can find our homepage at clemsonkickoff.com. We're on all the major podcast apps when you just search Clemson. We're on Twitter at Clemson Kickoff, and we upload our audio to youtube.com/Clemson Kickoff, where we'll also post shorts if big news breaks. Wherever you listen, we are glad you found us. We're going to get started with some updates in and around Death Valley. One, that the new Jumbotron scoreboard above the hill is starting to take shape well enough that Williamson Road is reopened beneath it. But more importantly, there are some updates on the quarterbacks and on the offensive line from Coach Dabo Sweeney today.
It sounds like the quarterbacks and O-line are playing really, really well, just to hear Dabo talk, and Coach Streeter earlier in the week as well. So DJ Uiagalelei is playing pretty well from everything we've heard. He looks good. Cade Klubnik looks good. And then, Bill, offensive line is so pivotal to any football team. And it sounds like the offensive line is getting close to having a set group in that first tier, and then maybe figuring out some of the issues that it had from last year. And that will be so huge for this team this season.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear some of the timing behind that decision, that they actually want to begin some game prep early next week for Furman, just a couple of days, according to head coach Dabo Sweeney, because that's going to be a short week after that opener on a Monday night against Georgia Tech. But then after they do a little bit of Furman prep, they're going to really immerse into getting ready for the Yellow Jackets. So they want to have that offensive line personnel set and ready to go.
They do, and it sounds like they're getting close to that. And again, we'll see what that group looks like. If they put out a depth chart before the season, we'll definitely see what it looks like when we get to that first game on Labor Day night against Georgia Tech. But everything we're hearing from all the reporters who cover the team is that the offensive line is in a much better spot than it was this time last year. And we saw how big of a problem was the offensive line was throughout the 2021 season. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be maybe what it was in the two championship years? Possibly not. But it feels like this group is headed in the right direction and the pieces fit. And that's the big problem I thought last year, Bill, is that sometimes the pieces didn't fit, and they didn't really have an answer for when those pieces didn't fit. It feels like they've got more depth this year, and they've got the first team pieces that fit really, really well.
You know, maybe one indicator that that's the case is how well Uiagalelei and Klubnik have been playing at quarterback. Some good praise for them out of the scrimmage, but also some good praise today out of the workout. Dabo Sweeney saying, really, other than one bad decision, as he put it, Uiagalelei looked really, really good. Also praised Klubnik, other than some sacks that he took because he wasn't getting rid of the ball.
And we saw that from Cade in the spring game too, right? You know, they can't sack you. Maybe you're going to hold the ball a little bit too long. Well, you can't do that once the games start. Once you're playing live and you can get hit, you really can't hold on to the ball too long. So that's a rookie thing. I'm sure that's a freshman thing that's expected. But I'm really excited about what we've heard about DJ. I know he had a rough year last year. We've talked about that ad nauseum throughout the summer and here on the first few episodes of the podcast. But it feels different this year to me, Bill. Now, again, he has to go play. And we'll see once everything's live and there's an opposing team on the other side. But I feel really good about where he is right now, where this offensive line is. The wide receivers seem to be in a better spot as well. And then we know how good those running backs are. So the offense, at least from the outside looking in, it seems like it's in a different place this year than it was last year.
Be sure to subscribe to us at youtube.com/Clemson Kickoff so you can stay up to speed on analysis of the biggest news in Clemson sports. Now we're also going to talk some football with a former Clemson Tigers basketball great, who also will, of course, get into the latest on the hard court after the team has returned this month from some exhibitions in France. Do ask that you'll be a little patient with the audio quality, please. A little bit of static, but you can hear that he had a lot of good things to say. So here we go. Well, let's start out with a guest who I'm really excited to have on the show. Treated me really well during our days on campus together in interviews and in the classroom. And even when we spoke while he was in the NBA, please welcome our first podcast guest, and it's Clemson Tigers alum Sharone Wright. Thanks for being here, and what are you up to these days?
I am retired from playing basketball. And, well, Bill, it's funny you ask because when you knew me when we were younger, indeed, I was a lot more energetic. Now I'm kind of like an old gray man, so it's crazy. And I was talking to Horace Grant recently because he's doing the same thing. I was like, "Ho, are you active?" He said, "Only thing I do is play golf club every once in a while. Maybe I can start doing that." But I've had some setbacks health wise, but other than that, I've been good.
That's great. That's great to hear. So we want to get into a little bit about the state of the Clemson basketball program. I'm going to pretty much hand off to Daniel here because he's more of an expert on hoops than I am. But where do you see things in general right now?
Well, my mama used to tell me all the time. She said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. And so, but I do feel as an alumni and as a Clemson Tiger, I just want us to do great. I want us to go to the ACC tournament and win games, and maybe one day win it. I want to consistently beat the Dukes and the Carolinas and those teams. I don't want us to lose games that we should win. I don't want us to lose to Rutgers. I don't want us to lose, so those type of teams. I want us to be consistent. The biggest thing for me is I want us to be consistent. I don't think we have been in the last couple of years. Brad has done a good job with everything he's had to do in terms of injuries, things of that nature. I just want us to be better. I want us to be better. I'm very tired of going into the ACC tournament and losing the first game. We did that a couple of times too, but, that's another story. But I just feel like we've had – see, for me, Bill, indeed, we have the facilities to do well, okay? IPTAY makes sure that. IPTAY makes sure that we have everything we need. And, because there's a lot of programs that don't have what we have. Practice court, different things. I mean, now with NIL, it's going to be crazy now. So we have what we need. Number one is recruiting. Because, I feel like we should be going after some of the top kids in the nation and enticing them to come to school. Because it's just like me. I was a top 5, top 6 kid in high school, McDonald's All-American. And when I came to Clemson, it was a wrap. I didn't think about Duke. I didn't think about Syracuse, Florida State. I didn't think about nobody. Indiana. I had already been to those places, and there was nothing like Clemson. There's something in the water, what they say, in those mountains. There's something about it. And I want people to experience the things that I did. So recruiting and the way we play is the biggest issue for me.
Sharon, you talk about recruiting. One of the biggest recruits Clemson's had in a while is PJ Hall. He's had a good career. He's had some injuries, but what do you think about him as a player, as a Clemson big man, one of the best big man Clemson's ever had?
The best.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There you go.
Come on, D.
Well,
hey, D.
my opinion is yes, the best.
D,
I agree with
right now, D. Bill, he's slipping right now. Come on, man.
Right there.
You're my favorite for sure. But where does PJ stand as a player, and what does he bring to this team with his talents?
I think number one, the best thing about PJ Hall is how hard he plays. I love watching him play. I know what I'm going to get with him. Every time I watch him play, he shows me something different. Like one game, he went to his left hand jump hook, the right hook. He showed me he could, because when he gets it on the post, he's pretty good. He's got size, strength, and he's not a slow kid. He's athletic as hell, I think. And he's got a lot of natural instincts that I love. Plays very hard. I don't know about this injury. We'll see how far it is. I did speak to him and told him that I was with him and all that. And he's going to be okay. So, but I do think he's going to go down as one of our best post players ever. Sherrod Ford, him, Akinbola, those guys, those type of kids. I mean, he's going to go down as one of our best ever, I think.
That's saying something with you guys. I mean, with what y'all were able to do. Obviously, you and Horace Grant and Larry Nance and Dale Davis. Yeah. There's been a lot of them. So
he won't be on that
level. Right.
Not that, but he'll be on that second tier. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
Come on, man.
Well, there's one tier with you, and then there's the next group, and then he'll be on the third tier, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So when you look at the freshmen for this year's team, a big freshman class, 4 freshmen, and then Josh Beadle is a red shirt. What have you seen of them that they could maybe add to this team to help the team this year?
Well, I like the Godfrey kid. Godfrey's going to be pretty good. And also the Hunter kid I like, whose brother is already on the team. And the dad played wide receiver at Georgia, by the way. I knew that.
Right.
But that kid's going to be pretty good. I think he was a Baylor commit at first.
Yep.
And then he switched over. And so I like them too. But we needed more front court help. Right. So you got to have some front court help. Even though I know PJ plays a lot of minutes, they were at their best when PJ was a freshman, I thought. And they had Amir. Him and Amir was playing well, and they were big across the line. You got to have good guards for sure. Everybody knows that. But you really got to have a couple of really good bigs. And they did that. And now I just don't know. I don't know. I do like the transfer from Boston College. I think he's from Seneca, I think.
Yep.
I do like him.
Brevin Galloway. Yeah,
Galloway. Actually, last year I was at that game. That's when they retired my jersey.
That was your game. Yeah, because we were there. Right.
Daniel, he came in and had 25 on us.
He went crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Good kid. His brother's the one that played tight end for them, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, he played tight end and then left after last year. So, Sharone, they went to France this month, and they've played in France. You played in one of these kinds of games, tours as well. What does that bring to a team?
It means a lot because, like I said, you get a chance to see where you're at, especially with a young team like that. They are very young. With PJ and those guys coming back, some of the guys, because remember, the 2 guards transferred. So they had some guys transfer out. So that's why this trip is very important, because you get a chance to get some continuity with the new kids also. Because they basically, besides PJ and a few other guys, Hemingway and all them, they really going to be new. So you got to have some type of stick-to-itness with those guys. And I think that's what this trip is going to do. Also, it gives them a chance to breathe a little bit outside of Clemson. They're over in Europe. It's the culture. That type of stuff brings kids together. That brings kids together. I'm telling you, when you're connected to each other that way and experiencing different things, that bodes well. But on the court, it'll make them better because they're going to jump. Because like I said, this is a dead period. So a lot of teams are not being able to get on the court. So they're on the court and doing well.
So let's switch over to football, Sharone. I know you're as big a football fan as Bill and I are. What do you think about this year's team, and how excited are you to see them play?
Okay. I bleed orange, as you guys know, as you guys do too. I am very excited, especially, I wasn't excited about XT going down, but I felt like we're so stacked on the D line and up front that we can survive for a few games, especially against Georgia Tech. And we don't have that one game where it's like Georgia. We don't have that one game early on, so we should be okay. If we get past those first 3 or 4 games and get some real passive energy per se, get everybody on the flow, I think we'll be fine. That first game or 2 is always bad, for us, especially. And I don't know why we keep playing Georgia Tech early. I don't understand. Because I remember one time they just upset us like 3 years in a row. Like, why are y'all doing that?
Yeah.
I want to play games. Why we can't play Lehigh first and then come back? Like, come on, man. But I am very excited about our team. I think we'll jump back on the wagon with offense. Offense is going to shock a lot of people. Bo Collins, Dakari. I'm hearing so many great things about Antonio Williams.
Yep.
And, his stepfather is the Holloway guy from Mississippi State. So I didn't know that. And Antonio Williams is going to be a stud. And then we get Adam Randall back coming up.
Right.
He's got a Terrell Owens type recovery, which is great. So the receiving core has got to step up for us this year. Defense is going to be locked down with Trenton Simpson, with the guys on the line. Brian Brzee is back. with Tyler. Man, we're going to be really good. I think this is our bet. This is going to be better than the Power Rangers. I think that group is going to be better than the Power Rangers. Mark my word right now, Bill. This group right here is better than the Power Rangers. You know, I think so because now I think we're better on the back end too. Okay, Makuba. We got. I hope we have Fred Davis back. With some of those guys, I haven't read.
Yeah. Fred's back. Yep.
Fred's back, and
Barrett Carter, those kinds of guys for sure.
Barrett Carter is a stud. I mean, him playing the Sam position? Come on, man. We got actually 2 NFL first and second string D lines. So for me, I mean, it's just great. We're going to be pretty good. So we're going to stop guys. We're going to stop a lot of teams. We got to score points, and I think I think Will Shipley is going to be a Heisman guy before he's over. Will Shipley is going to be a Heisman candidate before it's over.
It's too bad he's not from that era where running backs were winning the Heisman every year, right? Mm-hmm. So it reminds me a lot lately, though, up front when the 3 of us were on campus and that O-line really started to decline.
Yeah.
The passing lanes have to be there. The pass protection has to be there. And then the creases and holes for the running game have to be there, too, in order for that offense to take a step forward.
Of course. Bill, I thought that DJ took a lot too much heat last year because it was the offensive line. And when you only got 1 and 2 seconds to make a play, and then you're hurt, he played the whole year with a meniscus tear. I mean, there are things that happen in his personal life that people don't know about. But the kid, I mean, just if you're online, Bill, I know you are. These people are weird. I like, what are you? He's an 18, 19-year-old kid, and you're doing that. This kid he was a warrior for us last year. Of course, he could have got better. He needed to be better for us to be better. But you can't put the whole blame. I mean, like, our offensive line was a crap show the last 2 years, to be honest. And I think if they played well 2 years ago, we won another national championship. But they didn't. They didn't. They let those guys kill Trevor Lawrence. So for me, the offensive line, I thank God for Robbie. Robbie turned the reins over, and I think what the new kid is doing is Austin kid is doing is unbelievable. What he's doing recruiting wise, Thomas Austin, he needs a raise. That dude, he is doing great, and obviously Nick Eason, obviously on the other side, but what Nick Eason and Austin have done is freaking unbelievable. Especially when you think about Brent moving on, and then the other guy, and then other guys leaving. It's kind of like when Marion Hobby left. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's why I love Dabo, man, because he plugged that in right away. He didn't go around with a publishers clearinghouse search and all that old shit. He didn't do that. he promoted, because look, what it really tells me is that Wes Goodwin, he was learning all these years. These guys have been learning from the best defensive coordinator we've ever had. And Tony Elliott was really good too. So they were learning. And I think it worked out. And we're seeing that it's working out right now, especially on the recruiting end.
Fabulous. Yeah, the recruiting is really back after the pandemic seems to really be what got in the way of getting guys on campus and building relationships.
Yeah.
You heard a little about that. A lot of people thought Clemson recruiting was done, but my goodness, June and July, the talent that they have brought in.
You know what's even better, Bill? What's even better, and we're in the landscape of NIL, and we don't have a huge program as far as NIL does, but we're still doing great. We're still top 5 in recruiting. That tells you a lot about what Clemson is. It tells you a lot about where Coach Sweeney is and what he's doing. That just tells you a lot, because there are programs right now that are buying players, and we're not doing that. I know for a fact we're not doing that. We're selling kids on academics. We're selling them on tradition. Best is the standard. We're selling kids on getting better every day. So we're not selling kids, okay, you're going to start right away. No. We got 5-star guys. We got 4-star kids, but they want to work. They want to work. And that's when you want to work, that's what you see. You see that when you go to Clemson.
That's right.
As someone who's got a 15-year-old son who might be going through that process pretty soon, right? Like, what does it mean to you to see some programs are doing it that way and maybe not taking every transfer who shows up, and maybe not, like you said, just buying players outright with NIL? What does that mean to you as a dad, and what do you think it means to other moms and dads out there?
Well, I really hate the transfer portal, number one. because of what it does to team camaraderie. And then it gives us a sense of a false narrative for a kid. And by that, I mean, they think just because that, first of all, it teaches kids not to work hard. Because if somebody's in front of you, you need to work to get in front of them. I went to Clemson knowing I felt like Dale Davis is there. I won't be there with him, but you put me and Dale on the floor, I'm gonna kick his ass. That's how I felt. I was always like that. Do you tell you? I was always like that. I felt that way. So nowadays, kids the coach yelled at me, I'm transferring. I guess, come on, man. Like Cliff Ellis is the biggest jerk ever, but I love him. Y'all know Cliff, but he taught me so much, and he was hard on me, and now I love him to death. He's like a dad to me because he knew that was about me. He knew I lost my dad when I was 17. He knew that. So, and that was like that. But some of these kids, so you transfer because some guys in front of you, well, beat him out. Work hard and you'll get on the field. Come on. And I think the portal does that. But the landscape of college football, Bill, is just like that. I mean, we're living in a world of NIL and transfer portal. It's just kind of how it is. You got to make the best out of it. But I'm not teaching my kid that way.
Wow. That's
great.
Tremendous insight. Yeah. Is there anything we didn't ask that we should have, or anything that didn't come up that you want to make sure you get out there?
Well, I would want to say this. Daniel Shirley is my dog. That's my dude. This dude, man, I remember I was a shy freshman, man. I didn't want to give interviews. I didn't want to talk to people. I just kind of like, I was a McDonald's All-American, but I really wasn't outgoing. And Tim Beret used to tell me all the time, you got to be expressive if you want to be good at this, because I didn't never want to get interviews. But I always gave Daniel an interview. I always made sure I talked to him, man. And we've been friends, man, 20 years, 20-some years. And that's my dog, man. His kids love the boys, love Laura. I mean, I love the guy, man. That's my dude.
Well, right back. I feel the same way. You're the big man, right? We've had some big men, but you're the big man in my mind for sure.
Let's go ahead and make that, because listen, man, like 7 records in 3 years. Listen, I only played 3 years, Bill.
That's right.
That's right.
I only played 3 years. So if I had played 4, Jesus, we wouldn't even be talking about some of these other guys, man.
Right?
We wouldn't even be talking about these guys.
That's right. Well, I mean, yeah, you're the man. No doubt about that.
Yeah, we really appreciate you taking time. I know things are busy for you, and we enjoyed chatting with you. I hope we're going to catch up again during basketball season, or maybe even sooner.
Man, I'll come on anytime. Man, Daniel, if D just tell me, I'm gonna be there. We talk all the time every week, so it's all good. Let me know. Daniel Shirley's involved with it. I'm with it. You know that. So
all right, bro.
Good.
Check out ClemsonKickoff.com for some great resources, links, and more. Well, now let's go ahead and get into those baseball signees. It was really cool to see the whole group of them posted the other day on social media. It's led by a pair of pitchers, lefty Tristan Smith, who is ranked 24th by Perfect Game, and righty Joe Allen, who is ranked 112th.
Bill, I love this class. I do. I know a lot of these players had already signed before Coach Bakich came aboard, but the staff was able to keep that group together, add a couple of other names in the mix after it came on board. But this looks like a really strong class for this new coaching staff to build from and start with. Can't wait to see what they bring to the team. And these guys will be on the team this year. So this is a group that will be here with the Tigers in the spring, and really excited to see what they bring to the program.
There are some familiar names in this class, too. One of them is Cooper Blauser. He is the son of a former Atlanta Brave, one of the latest to come to Clemson. His dad is infielder Jeff Blauser, so if you're in my generation at least, you'll recognize him. Also, Brody Kahn, who's the son of defensive coordinator Mickey Kahn, and ranked pretty well by Perfect Game.
Brody's a big pickup. I think Cooper is as well, but Brody was a player who, was highly thought of in this class. I think he brings a lot to this team, and it's exciting him playing baseball at Clemson while his dad is still on the coaching staff with the Tigers. So that's always fun. Can't wait to see what Brody and Cooper bring to the team.
Someone you're pretty familiar with yourself in there as well, I understand.
Yeah, Jay Dillard is a young man from Hannah High School in Anderson, South Carolina. He and I are related. His grandfather and my dad were cousins, so really excited about that. We'll follow Jay from now on and see how he does with the Tigers. Always cheer for family first, but it's always fun when that family's wearing the orange and purple.
Literally Clemson family going on there, right? Well,
Okay,
also
that's
also some transfers among that group of 19 coming over from Michigan with Coach Eric Bakich.
Two of those transfers are really familiar for Coach Bakich, in infielder Riley Bertram and right-handed pitcher Willie Weiss. They come over with him from Michigan. Michigan's had a really good program the last couple of years, and it's a good sign that those guys want to continue their career with Coach Bakich and his staff. So it'll be great for this program to have some of those veteran guys come in and they can kind of lead the way, show the Clemson players what Coach Bakich and the staff want to get done. That could be a big boost for this team next year.
Well, all around Clemson sports, if any news breaks in the next few days, we'll react to that as well. We'll discuss what it means for the Tigers. I know, Daniel, you've got a couple things that you're going to be thinking about.
I'm really excited about the women's soccer team opening the season. They start their season Thursday night against Texas A&M at 7 o'clock, and then Sunday night against Campbell at 6 o'clock. They've got a really good program, looking to see if they can continue to take the next step. But that's a really intriguing group for me.
Plus, we will be watching all the developments in fall football camp, and if any news breaks there, we will keep you posted. Well, I hope everyone has enjoyed this, and we are glad you found us, Clemson family. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button, or if you're on a podcast app, hit the follow button. You can stay up to speed every time we react to the big news that's happening around Clemson athletics, and we want to keep this a free show. Our homepage has some great resources and an easy-to-read schedule with kickoff times as they're announced, so be sure to check out clemsonkickoff.com. You can play all our episodes there and our shorts. We've been previewing every position group this offseason as well as every opponent this offseason, and you'll find all the links to our podcast app pages as well. You can also follow us on Twitter at Clemson Kickoff, where we will retweet news as it happens and give quick hit opinions in real time. Until next time, I'm Bill Zimmerman.
I'm Daniel Shirley. Go Tigers.